It was a tough one, doubled up by the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-3. And with that, welcome on in to Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. And there it is, the Tokyo Dome, the site of the last two ball games. Also the place where the Cubs were not able to muster up enough gumption to go out there and get themselves a victory. However, it's just two ball games. There's still 160 left to play. That is before a few spring training tilts still are on the calendar. And with that said, welcome on in to Cubs Postgame Live. I'm Cole Wright at your service alongside the 17-year big leaguer. That's Cliff Floyd, and our resident Hall of Famer from Cornell University. It's Elise Menaker. And gang, we saw it. A 6-3 loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and never how they drew things up. You go all the way to the far east, and the bottom of the third, that's really when they had to capitalize. 4 straight walks, weren't able to do so. And if you miss those free passes, Cliff, sometimes that ship will sail.
Yeah, it definitely will sail. But I think, for me, it's how you're missing opportunities, right? Missing fastballs in the zone. I know it's early in the season. I know tough trip, players are creatures of habit. I get all those things. It's just when you have two of the best players in our sport, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman out of the lineup, you want to capitalize somewhere in the win column. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, and if you would have told me that Roki would go 3 and have 5 walks and Steele would go 4, but for him, the 5 earned runs is what sticks out. I mean, if you would have just shown me Roki Sasaki's line, I would have thought the Cubs had a pretty good chance. But because of the way the Dodgers pitching is, you get to that bullpen, it doesn't do you any favors. But the Cubs, they had 7 walks, 8 hits. They had chances. They had base runners today. But then, as Cliff was pointing out, and we'll highlight it throughout the show, but just missed opportunities. Sure. And so that's something that, that when you're going to play this team, you can't have.
Yeah, Roki Sasaki clearly had those maiden voyage jitters, 5 free passes, 14 batters faced, and only 3 of them saw first pitch strike. Like we said, it's all about capitalization, and the Cubs were not able to do that. So let's head back to the Tokyo Dome where we check in with the fellas who were on the call, Alex Cohen and JD Jim Deshaies. And fellas, even though it's 2 losses in the books, so what an unbelievable experience. How has it been for you, fellas?
Yeah, it was a great experience just being here. Obviously, you would have hoped that the Cubs came away with a victory, but now they head back stateside, play a couple spring training games, and start their regular season in Arizona. But just from an experience standpoint, it's one that these players, the staff, myself, and I won't speak for JD, but I'm sure that we'll never forget. We'll hold in high regard.
Yeah, it was a wonderful trip, and Craig Counsell talked about it before we left Arizona, that it was going to be a bonding opportunity for his team. So I'm sure they had a lot of opportunities to get together and hang out and kind of, when you're in a foreign place, you tend to kind of stick together, right? How much value that has, I don't know. It's impossible to quantify. Frustrating, again, here tonight, as you guys have alluded to, opportunities to score early, just couldn't get that big swing. Michael Busch gets doubled off on the bases. A couple throwing errors of one that impacted the game last night. When you're up against the Dodgers, you've got to be real clean. You've got to play clean baseball. But I'm with you, Cliff. You got a chance to play 2 games against this club, and you're not facing Freeman. You're not facing Mookie Betts. Unfortunately, they couldn't take advantage.
Hey, JD, I want to ask you a question about Justin Steele. As far as, Elise was talking about incorporating another pitch to change up. How hard is it to sort of get the confidence to have that pitch, go out there and execute it during a real game?
Yeah, it's hard, and I think it's hard for Justin because he's been so successful with his fastball slider combination. So there's some part of your brain that says, why do I want to mess with what's working here? That's not to say that you don't continue to work on it and see if you can develop feel for it and gain confidence, because the longer you're in the league, the more the hitters see you, the more they start to get a book on you, and it would be advantageous to have that third option. It's tough, though, right, in the middle of spring. You leave spring training and then you go play regular season games to try to implement that is very difficult. We'll see what he decides to do going forward, but he's still going to be real heavy fastball slider.
Alex and JD, for you, but Alex, will start with you. Was there anything about the team, whether it was just something in general you saw or a particular player that's standing out early in these 2 games that you feel like is a jump from last year or just some sort of improvement?
Well, first of all, I mean, just having John Birdie in a utility role when you had players in that role last year, I think John has the ability and the skill level to be a lot more productive than the players that they've had in the past. You saw it today with the 3 hits and turning a trio of double plays and a really nice play defensively. In addition to that, just having him being able to do a lot of different things for this team and steal bases. He's somebody who sticks out. Matt Shaw getting his first big league hit, having the diving play. And then Kyle Tucker, 2 big swings today. One was a double, one was a fly out to deep right center, but he's starting to look a little bit more locked in, so hopefully he can continue that as he gets back stateside and in that series against Arizona. So that's what sticks out to me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Alex. The 2 that jumped to mind for me would be Shaw defensively. Looks like he's going to be okay down there. Again, real small sample. He did have the errant throw yesterday, but he made a couple nice plays here tonight. And, yeah, Tucker finally starting to show some signs with the bat. We'll see. I mean, we know he's going to hit, right? He's one of the better hitters in the game. So, I mean, he could have gone 0 for 8 and struck out 7 times in this series. I would still tell you, Kyle Tucker's going to put up big numbers by the end of this season.
Okay, now before we get you guys on that charter headed back to Arizona, JD, I want to pick your brain on this one. 2 games in the books, however, 15 walks issued by Chicago Cubs pitchers. How do they get on that plane, have a conversation, and curtail that in the stat line, if at all?
Just do your thing, right? I mean, there's not going to be any great conversation. I think if I'm Tommy Hotovy, I'm not going to start talking about walks with my guys because I don't want to plant that negative seed in their head. I'm going to try to continue to send a positive message. Hey, boys, be aggressive, attack the strike zone. It's the Presley obviously was working around some guys there. He ended up walking 3 in his outing, so I think he was just trying to work out of the zone, hoping the hitters would get themselves out. But it's too small a sample to get too worked up about.
Free passes, they will continue to be a backbreaker. We've seen that in the first 2 installments of this 2025 campaign, and the call, it was impeccable from the Tokyo Dome. Alex Cohen, Jim Deshaies, gentlemen, thank you so much for checking back in with us, and safe travels. We'll see you guys very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Now a 6-3 loss, and not how Craig and company drew it up, even though they did outduel the Dodgers in the hit category, 8-7. You see Justin Steele, 4 innings, 5 earned, 1 free pass, and 5 punch-outs. He's going to go back to the drawing board after being able to soak in this international experience.